Listening Library presents The Mona Lisa Vanishes, a legendary painter, a shocking heist, and the birth of a global celebrity, by Nicholas Day. Read for you by Carlotta Brentan. For Isaiah, N.D. For Francis and Henry, B.H. A star is born, in which the Mona Lisa is painted, is stolen, and becomes an absolute legend. The creation of the Mona Lisa. Imagine a palazzo, a magnificent Renaissance building. It's Florence, 1503. There are a lot of palazzos around. Choose a good one. Now imagine a man, handsome, charming, gentle. Make him a painter. Imagine a woman, intriguing, unknown, beautiful. Make her a model. Do you see them? Neither of them should be there. The man shouldn't be a painter at all. Born into a long line of notaries, an early version of a lawyer, the man should have gone into the family business. Being a notary may have been the most boring profession in Renaissance Italy, but it was steady. Instead, he designed flying machines. He dissected dead bodies. He inflated pig bladders and launched them around the room. He was an extraordinary, ingenious, wondrously weird man. He was Leonardo da Vinci. He painted a little too. But he didn't have a reason to paint this portrait of an ordinary Florentine woman. The woman shouldn't be posing for him. She shouldn't be in a room with any man. She should be hidden away in a convent, the home of a Catholic religious order. Her family hadn't had enough money for a dowry, the sum any girl in Florence needed for a marriage, and girls without dowries disappeared into convents, cut off from the world. But a marriage was arranged somehow, and she prospered. There were children, and there was money. Enough money to commission a painting. Thanks to that painting, she became the most recognizable face in the world. We don't know how long she sat for Leonardo. We don't know if they ever saw each other again. We do know that afterward, the woman staring out of the painting, Lisa Gherardini, will watch as the city around her is invaded and pillaged. It will be brutal. Upon her husband's death, she will finally enter a convent. We know that the man staring into the painting, Leonardo da Vinci, will flee Florence. He'll move up and down Italy, a brilliant artist without a place to call his own. As an old man, he will end up in another country altogether. When he makes the journey over the Alps to France, he will strap this portrait, the Mona Lisa, to a donkey. He will die. But what happens in that palazzo will make her ageless. She will live through the centuries. She will become immortal. She cannot die. She can, however, be kidnapped. The theft of the Mona Lisa. It was Monday, August 21st, 1911, and it was morning, finally. From his hiding place inside the closet, the man could hear the footsteps of the Louvre guards. In the empty, enormous rooms of the Louvre, the footsteps must have echoed. They came closer and closer still, and then farther. Each time, the guards walked right past him. He had no idea if they were looking for him. But they should have been. On Sunday, the man had come to the Louvre just like any other visitor. But when the museum was closing, he didn't do what the other visitors did. He didn't leave. The Louvre wasn't a hotel. You weren't supposed to spend the night. But a few months before, a French journalist had done the same thing. The journalist didn't think the Louvre's security was any good, and to prove it, when the museum closed, he crawled inside the sarcophagus of an Egyptian king and stayed there until the morning. He was right about the security. No one bothered him, not even the Egyptian king whose sarcophagus he'd borrowed. All the journalist took from the Louvre was material for an article, an exposé on the museum's lousy security. This man wanted to take more than that. They'd both gone unnoticed because the Louvre wasn't just an art museum. It was a labyrinth with 1,000 years of hiding places. It was first built as a medieval fortress, complete with a moat. It became a palace, the magnificent home of French royalty. With every monarch, the palace grew yet more palatial, sprouting vast wings and pavilions like some sort of fantastical beast. After the French Revolution, which overthrew the monarchy, it completed its final transformation into a museum, a monument for the new French Republic. By then, it sprawled. It occupied the space of nearly 40 football fields. It was as long as the Eiffel Tower if the Eiffel Tower were laid down on the ground and lined up end to end with another Eiffel Tower. It was a seemingly endless expanse of grand rooms, like a mirror reflected in a mirror. Alongside those rooms were centuries of nooks and crannies. These were less grand: storerooms, cupboards, annexes, cubbyholes. A human being could squeeze in almost anywhere. A century ago, no one at the Louvre even knew how many of these hideaways there were. There were too many to count. And on Monday, August 21st, 1911, no one at the Louvre knew that someone was hidden away inside one of them. This man had rejected the sarcophagus in favor of a storage closet. The Louvre was also a sort of art studio where amateurs came to copy the paintings of the greats. The museum let these copyists, that was the term for them, store their things there. When the Louvre closed on Sunday, the man slipped in among the easels and paint boxes. That was the easy part. What came next was harder. The man waited behind the closet door. He listened to the footsteps. Let us leave him there for a minute. He's completely still, but outside the museum, a new century is accelerating. Everything is in motion. The changes have been blindingly fast. New inventions like automobiles and airplanes are a blur on the street and in the sky. Their speed is altering fundamental facts of life, things as basic as time and space. People can move across the globe at unimagined velocity, connecting places that were once isolated. Information follows at the same breathtaking pace. All of this is shrinking the world. A local story, the story of a criminal at loose in the Louvre, for example, can now become a global sensation. All of this will shape what happens when the closet door opens. It will be a story at the mercy of this new breakneck century. The halls of the Louvre went quiet. A closet door cracked. When the man stepped out of the storage closet, sleepless from a night with the easels, sweaty in the August heat, he was alone. Or almost alone. He was surrounded by the most extraordinary paintings in the world. The storage closet had an extremely good location, a suspiciously good location. Around the corner was the Salon Carré, the home of the most prized paintings in the Louvre. The great Italian painters were all represented: Raphael, Titian, Tintoretto, and Leonardo da Vinci. The museum was closed on Mondays, but it wasn't abandoned. The staff still came in: curators, cleaners, maintenance workers. There were guards, too, but fewer, and they had to cover an area the size of a small city. None of them saw the man leave the closet. But if any had, they might not have noticed. He was wearing a white smock, the uniform of the Louvre maintenance workers. It was a suit of invisibility. He was too normal to be noticed. He didn't look like a thief. He walked around the corner into the Salon Carré, the heart of the Louvre. It was all his for the taking. The paintings in the Louvre were not locked down. This lack of security was actually a form of security. In case of fire, the guards were supposed to grab the paintings and run. Still, some paintings, especially valuable paintings, were hung in a way that required inside knowledge. They had to be removed from their hooks in a very precise way, a way that anyone who didn't already know was unlikely to figure out fast.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?